topics. Every Tuesday with me, Emmanuel Odeke. Let's talk. Good evening to Uganda once again. My name is Emmanuel Odeke, the host of Let's Talk. And we come to you again from the Church of Uganda Family TV Studios. It has been an amazing week. God has been good to us, and lots of things have been happening. And we still thank God that we are still alive. And lots of stuff can still happen here and there. And it is amazing that today we can be in the studio here and try our best. I normally say we do what we do best, and that is what we do every time we come here. And today it is amazing that I have one of the men I have been with for a very long time. So when I talk about a long time, I definitely want to think we've known each other for quite a long period of time, and his name is Reverend James Luwum.
Thank you. Thank you, Emma.
And he comes to us from St. John's, Luzira. So if you've not been to Luzira for a prison matter, you can go there for service. So Reverend James, would you like to say hello to our viewers, and then we can dive into our discussion for today?
Thank you, our lovely viewers of the Family TV. Indeed, as Emma have already introduced me, I'm Reverend James Luwum, the chaplains of St. John's Prison Chapel in Luzira. I'm so delighted and grateful to be here, Emma, and thank you for all the team for hosting me. Thank you so much.
Like you heard, he's from St. John's, but he was previously in St. Stephen's Police Barracks.
Yeah, surely.
So from police to prison.
Just some, I think about 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
I was in the prison, Uganda Police Service. You know, even while I was in the prison, often I could make a mistake and talk about the police. Yeah, but that's the calling of God. Right now, I work with Uganda Prison Service. Yes, some few months ago, I was with the police serving at St. Stephen's Church of Uganda in Zambia. So I want to greet them. Hello, watu wa in Zambia. I greet you all in the name of Jesus Christ and love you so, so much.
I am sure they are very well on listening and waiting to hear great stuff that you will be mentioning to us. Now, just for those who might want to send in feedback and any kind of information to us, there are those numbers on your screen. The WhatsApps there should be really, really beneficial. So if you send a WhatsApp on that number there, it will definitely get to us here in the studios of Church of Uganda Family TV, where we enrich lives. So today we'll be discussing those challenges that your children face. Sometimes they get involved in them when they don't know that they are really challenges. And so you want to pay attention to some of the things that Reverend James will be discussing today in the studios, so that you know what is happening. There are things that your children go through that you as a parent may never get to know unless somebody who has taken time to intentionally be with your children takes time to discuss them with you perhaps. So we'll be discussing the untold vices that young people go through. So to you, Reverend James, what are these vices? Could we start by probably defining so that we get to understand what exactly are these vices that the young people go through?
Well, thank you so much. Even before I talk about those vices that the young people go through, I'm a parent. I have lovely children. But also while in Zambia, you know well, we had this wonderful and good project of, Talk to Me, whereby the young ones could come and open their hearts to us, share with us their burdens. Because we come from that community of the police family where most of them could be going for work and leaving children home, And together with you, we have taken this initiative to look after these children. We call them our children so that we care for them, because we would love to see some good future in them. So because of this, when you raise this question of what are some of these vices that our children go through or have, indeed the vices, these are some of the immoral activities which we tend to look in the life of children. Sometimes they even try to hide it away from you. If you're not keen, you will not be able to notice that these vices really exist in a child. And they tend to grow with it, you know, from all ages. Right now, even a child of 3 years, you know, their lifestyles change compared to many 10 or 20 years ago. So these immoral activities that one can be involved in, you know, these are defect and the failing in the life of a child that we could see. So there are many. If we talk about them, there are quite many. We talk about the issues of prostitution. We talk about the issues of indecent dressings. We talk about, you know, the robbery, the cultism that we might see in the children nowadays. We talk about issues of even pickpocketing that a child can be engaged in, and many more, which I know will be able to go deeper into them. So today we want to look deep and see what are the effects and what kind of these vices that maybe even parents cannot see, but a counselor or a pastor can be able to see. But even the parent who is so keen might be able to know that these vices really exist in our family, in our children's life.
Now, you might want to think that prostitution is this official thing that government has been talking about and making noise about, and there are particular places that have been gazetted and known for prostitution. But you might want to know that there are people who are practicing prostitution and they are not known anywhere.
Sure.
And you want to be surprised that there are those who are in the business and you can never know that they are in the business.
You cannot even know them.
And these are our young people. You can't escape. You can't escape having a child unless God has denied you that that blessing of having a child. Now, let's start from a point where we want to see, how do you understand that this child is getting involved in this particular vice? You've made mention of some of them. Talk about prostitution, talk about cultism, talk about theft, talk about robbery. How do you start to think, and I'm sure not every parent may know how to get to understand that I think my child is getting into wrong until maybe police summons them to a certain thing. What are some of the signals to this kind of behavior?
Sure.
More so when they return to family. We'll look at school times and then home times later. So what are some of the signals to these kind of behaviors?
Thank you, Emma. I mentioned earlier that sometimes even parents could not notice unless if you're keen. So some of these behaviors which are, you know, noticeable in a child, I could start like one. As a counselor or as a pastor, I could talk about, you know, avoidance. One of them. When you see a child trying to avoid you, an elder, or a parent, a mother or a father, or even maybe an opinion leader in the community, a child will start avoiding you. They will tend to dodge you. When you are coming towards them or when you call them, they will take long to respond. They will not be seen, you know, around. Even when they are playing, you will not notice where they are. So definitely, as for me, I will say, I think something is wrong with this child. Maybe even you can call once, twice, they will not respond. Then you need to take a keen interest to know, why is this particular child trying to avoid me, or trying to avoid even just eating? For example, maybe during supper, when all children are coming together to eat, you will see child A or B is not present. Maybe they wait when parents are not there, then they will come up. So you will need to now think twice that I think something is wrong. Because if there was nothing wrong, a child would be free with anybody. A child will be free with you. And number two, what I could also say, there is what I call an extraordinary, anger. A child is so annoyed. When a child is so annoyed, every time in the house, you see the mood has changed, the appearance is not the normal one, then you will sense and say, I think something is not right here. Even a small issue in the house, among them, you will see a particular child will get annoyed very quickly, will jump out. Well, when maybe you have not given him the usual glass for water or the cup of tea that they used to take, a child will jump out. To me, I will say this is a sign that this child has engaged in some of the vices. Because it's like it's like a sickness, maybe I could say, which penetrates you deep and start changing your mind. Maybe another thing that I could bring out as a sign that this child is now involved in some of these vices could be maybe the arrogancy, the way how they talk to you. A child could be just proved to be arrogant. The way they dress, the way they talk, the way they walk around. Even maybe you have a remote of TV, you want to change a channel, you will see a kind of arrogancy in that child. Maybe arguing a lot, refusing, trying only to watch a certain channel of a TV. To me, those are clear signs that this child is involved in certain kind of lifestyle, which is immoral.
Now, those are three major points that Reverend James is making clear to us here. Now,
okay, maybe I can also add one. Even poor performance. Okay, I can also bring the poor performance right from schools, at home, in the church, even in some other activities in the house. You tell them to go and wash dishes, you hear one breaking. You tell them to come and mop the house, you see certain things are not going well. To me, I will also add to be the fourth issue that something is wrong with this child. Thank you.
Now, those are four issues Reverend James is pointing out here. One is avoidance. So a child who is definitely involved in fornication, in prostitution, will definitely work hard to avoid the rest. Anger, arrogance, and then poor performance. But as a parent, have you ever bothered to ask yourself, where do some of these children get these monies that they dish out when that money is not from you, the parent?
Yeah, I recall when I was growing up, my father, even a coin of 100 shillings, by that time we had a coin of 50 shillings. You are not supposed to own or even to produce a coin of 50 shillings. Where have you got it from? Without further questions, Chiboko. Because you are learning to be a bad child. Okay? So nowadays, yes, we know the life is changing. I don't want our children to live the way we have been living. Yes, sometimes we give them pocket money. Sometimes we provide. I recall one day, my father came to Kampala, and I was counting money to pay the school fees. And this particular money, I said, okay, this is your pocket money. He said, what? Did I give you pocket money when you are going to school? I said, no, Dad, but the lifestyle is changing.
Times change.
And if you don't send your child with pocket money in school, you are going to cause him, more problems.
There will be a psychological or torture.
Exactly. So but nowadays, there are many children, even when you give them pocket money to go and utilize in schools. Trust me, many of them will not finish. Many of them will keep that some money at least. But yet, they will tell you, oh, mommy or daddy, I don't have pocket money. Can you help me? But they accumulate the money. But what will the child use this money for? Some of them are good, yes. When they come back home, they will produce the money. They will say, okay, this is the balance from school. Or some of them will even say, Dad or Mom, don't buy for me these books. I have the money which will cater for it. But some of them, you will not know that they have money unless maybe a neighbor will tell you, I met your child. Or even they start buying some new clothes that you have not bought it. And then you said, where has this child got the money from?
You can speak about your experience and more about how you used to get and keep that pocket money and how you used it without the notice of your parents. But things you must be careful and not careful is, these are some of the signs that you can definitely start to see. When your child starts to behave in a particular way, you want to ask yourself why. You want to ask yourself, what is the cause of the change in behavior? What is the cause of the change in character? And what is the cause of change in their performance, perhaps? So what would be some of the reasons why these young people get swung? Why do they jump into some of these immoral and wrong activities and characters that are perhaps forbidden according to the African culture and according to the Bible?
Okay, before I go into the Bible context, the African culture forever has been a good culture. I cherish, and I always advise people to continue loving our culture. However, in this current time, there is a shift from the good African norms to the bad side of it. Some of them could be, borrowing a lot from other culture. And, we are so good at borrowing, to the extent that we borrow even culture. We borrow the way of life, which to me, that is too dangerous and very bad for the future. However, looking through what really form us, maybe I will talk about this, what make us, what make me an African. Some few days ago, I was talking about why did God made me a Ugandan, not even a Kenyan. Why did God made me an Acholi? And I'm so proud that I am an Acholi. It's not about talking of tribalism and whatever, but God made me who I am, and He want me to perform the way He had put me in that culture. So before I copy, the lifestyle from other people, I must appreciate who I am and who God made me to be. Then two, you can, counteract. You find out. Because when I look at Emma, when I look at, Betty, I look at anybody from another tribe, I need to pick that which is good, not beyond what God has given me. It helped me to trim a little bit, but should not spoil me, should not spoil any child. So when you talk about the kind of the life situations that our children go through, maybe by borrowing, I know we are going to look into the schools, we are going to look into the community, we are going to look into even the parents' way of life. But the basic of all, which I feel I need to bring out, when our children get out into community, they interact, they meet. Just yesterday, Emma, maybe for your information, I just came back from Karamoja. I'd gone to North Karamoja for a ministry, and I came back last evening. And when I reached there, I also enjoyed their lifestyle. However, there could be some of the things which is not good, and I don't love even my child to adapt it. Okay? But it need to help me to form my mind how to bring up my children. And I will encourage them of the same. So when I talk about this, we need to know that some of the things that our children go maybe at schools and bring back home, some of them are good, but some of them are dangerous, which I think we need to take care of them. How will we take care of this? Parents need to be concerned. When your child is coming back from school, I love this, Emma. Today I wrote something in our page, and I said, since the time of the lockdown, the COVID time, which lasted almost for 2 years, our children suffered at home. Most of them missed schooling. Now, schooling is different from education. Some of them managed to go back to school. Some of them could not make it. It's not their mistake. Could be theirs, could be for us parents, could be for the community. Now children went back to schools, they have come back home. I wonder how many parents have ever taken the initiative to talk to their children. How many parents have had opportunity to ask their children how they have been doing at schools? What are the likes and the don't? Because trust me, there are things which are not good, but there are also things which are good. And among them, when we talk about the vices, those are the challenges, the immoral behavior. Some children, after the lockdown, they went to schools, they came back home. None of the parents might have talked to them. They will go back like that. In 10 years, trust me, the lifestyle that they have gone through will never change. And we would have lost a generation.
That is how interesting it is, how you can have parents who don't have time with their own children. It is interesting, but also you can't blame certain parents for what they are doing simply because they are children, yet parents. So you have a generation of parents who are not brought up to become parents, but they are children yet to grow up to become parents. Why don't parents take up the responsibility to bring up their children to become responsible parents so that they can raise responsible children? When we return from the break, we'll be looking at the parent-child relationship and the rest of the things to do with society, with to do with school times and then home times. That is when we return from the break.
Water gives life. Water is life. But not all water is created equal. Refresh yourself with the new quality Nirvana packaged drinking water and fuel you and your passion to go further in life. Visit a shop near you and grab a 250 ml at 400 shillings, 500 ml at 500 shillings, 1.5 liters at 1,500 shillings, or a 20-liter jumbo bottle at 18,000 shillings only. Nirvana is a product of Crown Beverage Limited, the makers of Pepsi products.
With 200 million people aged between 15 and 24, Africa has the youngest population in the world. This can either be an opportunity or a ticking time bomb. At Young and Flourishing Hub, we seek to turn these numbers into an opportunity for Africa to become a global leader. Join us every Monday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. only on Church of Uganda Family TV, as we take you through the discussion of different topics that will enable you to become world-class leaders and mentors, grow your finances, and become world-class innovators. Young and Flourishing, transforming Africa.
Entertainment has gone to another level, and That's why you see creativity each day in the art industry. Here we come with a purpose. What will bring you arts and culture, topical discussion, and the soul entertainment. Tune in every Saturday from midday to 1 p.m. here on Touch of Uganda Family TV, courtesy of Mercy and Rita, The Purpose, refreshing your mind.
You're not alone.
Cancer has increasingly become a global health challenge.
Today, since we've sat here, I've been to the toilet 5 times.
More often, we unknowingly endanger ourselves in the illusion of indulging in fun.
You had better style up. Man, keep watching.
Simple acts of life omission or commission may cause irreversible health damage to our bodies. We ought to be aware of, and whenever necessary, to consult and get the doctor's help.
Can cancer be passed from a mother to fetus?
There's genetic science shows that it is possible for a mother to pass cancer to the child through the placenta.
Cancer is not a death sentence. Early detection and treatment can save your life. The Change, an educative TV drama series on cancer.
Let's talk.
Let's talk. Let's Talk is an uncensored program on Family TV that attempts to answer questions that are unanswered within our church settings. Questions like sex and money, drugs and alcoholism, prophecy and prophets in our country. So, catch us at 9 p.m. every Tuesday on Family TV as we explore different topics and make attempts to answer the different life topics. Every Tuesday with me, Emmanuel Odeke. Let's talk. Welcome back from that short break. By the time we broke out for that break, we're talking about parents who are unparented. And definitely we'll want to start from that point exactly to do with parents. But right on your screen is a number that you can use to call, to send a WhatsApp and ask whatever you want to ask. I already see some questions coming through, and I will definitely reply those towards the end of the show. So use those numbers beneficially to send what is beneficial to you and what you may want to know about. We are still discussing the vices that our young people go through in schools, at home, when you send them up country to the villages for holiday. So we definitely want to hear certain things, what happens, how they react to them, and how they can be probably overcome. So back to you, Rev. What is happening with the parent-children relationship? The young people would call it the papa and son rapport. There seems to be a bridge. I saw a post somewhere on WhatsApp of a father who had a bald head,
like mine.
And then the son had a cut.
Around here.
Totally no hair here, but with a lot of hair here. And then the father had a bald head, and the wording down was generational gap. What is happening, and how is this gap affecting what is happening in society?
Sure. Thank you. There is this issue that I've been talking about. You know about it. Maybe other people have not heard me talking about. There is this what I call the unfinished business from the family of origin. There are things we started long ago with we parents, and now it's only being fulfilled in the life of our children. I give one of them. If I grew up as a child in a single hand, maybe only with my father, without a mother, trust me, I will not know what a fatherly love through the mother to a child is. Any child who grew maybe with only the mother, without a father, this child will not know how a father loves a child, or how a father loves a wife. And this child, when he grow up and he get married, he will get married because of season. He will get married because he feel the pressure, the urge to get married. He will get married because he's seeing people are doing it. So in that middle of their marriage, he will not be able to provide the husbandly love or a man's love to the wife, leave alone other issues behind. But the real lifestyle, because this man had never experienced how a man loved a wife or a fatherly love to the mother. Because children see. I give you an example. Maybe I sit with my wife under the veranda and I give my hands to her to cut my fingernails. Trust me, children will be peeping through the windows to see what is happening. They will be seeing. That is a lesson to a child. That tomorrow when I get married, I think this is what I have to do. But if a child fails to experience those, even tomorrow, he will not be able to ask the wife, please help me cut this. A wife who have never experienced or saw that will tell you, you are disturbing me. Go away with your finger. You see, those things are not disturbing. Those are the things that groom and make what is called marriage. So in brief, because I don't have time to explain, maybe we'll have time to explain more next time. Now, if you have not experienced those kind of love from your parent, you will grow up, you will become a child like you have mentioned. We are seeing people in marriage who never enjoyed it when they were young. So now when you have a child, because your dad never hold your hands and walk with you, trust me, you will not be able to do it to your children. And nowadays, most of our children, even a nursery child, I could call it so, even P1, they are in boarding schools. They come back from schools for 2 weeks, they go back to schools. They will be excellent in academic world. But information of marriage and family life, to me, I will say they are poor. Because they only know issues of academic. They will not know the family-based love and how families should run. So those kind of parents right now who have been a parent, trust me, that's why I call we have lost the whole generation. Those parents now cannot do what their parents used to enjoy. Now, as a result, now the children of nowadays have gone wild. The children of nowadays, they don't do exactly what they should have done. And the parents of nowadays will not know how to bring up a child, because he himself or herself never enjoyed it. Nobody gave to. Sometimes I give example. I have my phone here. This is just a phone. It is called smartphone. This is not an iPhone. If you ask me, Reverend James, can you give me your iPhone? I don't have it. I will give you the smartphone. So even in life, you cannot give what you don't have. Many parents, many young parents of these days, they don't have it. So even if you demand from them, they don't have it. They have never learned it. They have never got it. So because of this, I see a challenge in parents-to-child relationship. And this is one of the things I think maybe with time we'll be teaching our people, our children, how to know. Because of this, there's a lot of violence in family. Even right now, there are many violence in family, whether gender-based violence, whether child, violence, even men. I love this nowadays. There are many men crying, but they will not bring out.
And by the way, I think a week or two ago, a man died in Nsambia barracks.
Oh, sorry.
The wife had an issue with him, so she boiled water.
Wow.
And just poured the water on this man. And they tried whatever they would do. They rushed him to Chirudu.
Oh dear.
And he couldn't make it again. So the woman is in cells.
Oh dear.
The man is dead.
Suffering.
Now the children are feeling the test of the wrath that came as a result of the violence. But partly you want to think this is as a result of the upbringing that has affected.
Surely.
You see, the generation you're talking about, excuse me, is a generation that has been brought up by Nigerian movies,
by situations around,
soaps, by situations around and whatever is happening. And so they are able to see this is how it was done in the other Nigerian movie. This is how it was done in this. They forget these things are written on a script, and somebody definitely has to act it the way it is on the script. But you might want me to think that's not their behavior.
And Emma, even still back in Zambia when I was still young, because thank God I grew up in that barracks. From 1994, I was already in Zambia barracks, and I always give this reference. One day I was walking within the barracks, and I found a young child of about 7-8 years, a young boy, a boy child. He sat down and he was ordering these young girls to come around and telling, you bring me water, you bring me food, you iron my dress. And then, in fact, I lamented. But later on I realized this is what a child used to see from the parent at home. Okay? So what a child is seeing is what will make a child to be who they are. I'm very sorry for this family who have lost now the head of the family due to that, because that I assume that lady has not come into marriage because she wants to be a material for a wife or a mother, but because of the circumstances, the things that they see in community compel them to marry. Yet they cannot maintain it.
And they are not yet ready.
No, not yet ready.
Some of the things, there are lessons that people learn not after sitting in class, but they learn from the day-to-day activities. What you're talking about, cutting the nails. I saw my late dad call my mom to always, Margarita, my nails are long, even when they are not literally long, but they just want to have a game, and have some.
And even could raise the leg and put on their thigh. Please help me and cut this. Those are the joy of the family life.
And some of these things you learn them by seeing. Nobody will tell you you're supposed to do A, B, C, and D. There are things you learn by visual.
Yeah, sure.
The visual lessons. So let's look at the school. How has the school impacted some of these behaviors that are happening among the children today?
Okay, we left something because you had asked what parents should do.
Oh, okay.
Before I go to the school, there is this what I call parents to child relationship. Now, if a child comes back from school or live a normal life, does the parent or the mother or the father monitors the child academics or extracurricular activities? Because if you don't monitor that, then you will not do what I call a parental advice to your child. If you don't monitor what they do at schools, if you don't monitor, many parents, I remember while in Zambia, I used to mount my speaker, Emma, you know this, on the vehicle, and we drive around in the barracks and say, now the church is closed, who will train your children? Now the school is closed, who will train your child? It is now your responsibility. So if a parent does not monitor the progress of any child, trust me, the future of your children and the continuation of your family is dead. Totally. So I encourage parents to do what I call the child monitoring and evaluation of any activities that they do. Number two, you need to provide this moral guidance. When I talk about moral, anything, brushing the teeth, you know, even the child, there are many children who have grown up and they don't keep themselves neat. Now, who will help? It is the work of we, the parents. Who will advise? So parents need to guide the moral behavior of their children. Number two, we need to do the needful if there's any negative, changes in the life of a child. If you don't monitor the child, you will not know that there is negativity going around in their life. So until you come up and help the child in whom you have seen that kind of negativity, if you don't do it, nobody will do it. And many parents have left their children to schools. Because you pay school fees, you say that's enough. Because you send them to Sunday school, you think it's enough. Do what God commanded us to do. It is a responsibility of a parent for the upbringing of their children. My work as a priest is to mentor you as a parent on how to bring and raise up your children. That's what God commanded us. So of recent now, I am going to measure more on church mentoring parents, so that parents go and mentor their children. I think that would be better. And encourage any other leader outside. Can we try to focus more on parents? I'm not saying we are abandoning the children or the youth ministry. No. We will now do the final touches when the parents have done the nitty-gritty, the innermost requirement. So you asked me about the school things or the teachers and whatever. I must also admit and say that there is what we call the ongoing numerous things going on in school. There are a lot of activities going on in schools. Some of them are good, some of them are not good. And if there's any teacher or any director watching and following this program, I must tell you, you need to sit down, rethink, and look through your program for the children. Because many children are dying as well in the hands of schools or teachers. Because my children spend more time with you, they will come back home for a few days.
Nowadays it is 2 weeks or even less.
2 weeks or even less. And I recall some of my children still in school. They are coming back, I think, tomorrow or on Thursday.
And they are coming for
1 week, only to pick requirements.
and school fees and go back.
Oh my God. So look at that. Who will help this child?
When some of us were in school, at least we had a month at home with the parents. And you're able to visit the aunties, the uncles, and have some time with your parents.
We used to go, we could even spend weeks to our uncles and aunties. But nowadays, many children don't go. Thank God I told my own children, trust me, not only now, even those years back, I told them, during holidays, I want you to go to the village. And I am happy they have been going, and I love it. I am a priest, and I know my children might be watching at me. I love them when I see them putting even, our local songs, the Raka, and they are dancing. To me, it is the joy of my heart. I love it. Because it will not take away my children from the foundation. It helps them to know what goes on in our culture. However, as I was talking about the schools, these issues, the growing numbers of threats in schools, those things will lead to what I call a lifetime emotional trauma. Lifetime, for the rest of their life. Lifetime emotional trauma. That even when you try to help, you cannot pull it out of them. Because a teacher, do you know that a teacher can put a permanent mark in a child's life more than a parent? This is what I know. So number two, I also want to tell you, friends, and Emma, that there are these trends of bad initiations our children are getting from schools. Because our children go to schools, they are initiated either by faith or by culture. They are adopted from schools. And when they come back home, this is what we call now the vice. They keep quiet. No parent will see it. No parent will know that my child have these bad characters. No parent. They will hide it because they know only for 2 weeks they will spend at home. So they can do everything to cover those kind of lifestyle. And then because of this, I have ever seen students going into cultism because they learn from schools. They engage in things that which is not right, either in our faith or even in our family values. And then maybe to wrap this up, Emma, we need to know how to link these children to our family background, which I've talked already about it. To me, this is very good. To me, this is very good.
Now, with that taken home like that, could we look at the biblical beat, the biblical beat about this kind of things, and then perhaps we should be able to, we have about 5 minutes here to close the show. What is your biblical take about this kind of behavior in among our children?
Thank you, Emma. Because we have no minutes, I must say this, that part of the school things, which I want to bring out because you told me we have no time. During COVID time, most of our children remain at home for quite many years or days, and children have changed figures. Many children have changed figures, and they become big children, they have grown up, and when they go back to schools, some of them are being called the mother of P4 or the mother of senior one. They are very big. Even if they have not produced, because their figures change. This also is affecting our children at school. I want to call upon parents and children, please don't let anything deviate you from your focus. Go on. You know what took you to school, keep it up and hold on. Even teachers can abuse children. See, look at your characters. You don't deserve this. You have to be like this. So, but children, keep it up, remain at school, study hard. But now when you talk about the biblical point of view, I have many, but I want to mention one. That is in 1 John chapter 4, verse 10. I will not read this. It talks about love. Let's love our children. Love your children. Teachers, love the child. Because the Bible talks about love. God gave us his son. He sacrificed. May we give ourselves for our children, because that's the reason why you work. That's the reason why you toil, why they chase you, why they quarrel at you from your workstation. Love your child. Number two, which I think I need to read this. This is in Philippians chapter 2. Verse 3 says, don't be selfish. Don't try to impress others. Be humble. There are many people who are trying to impress other people over their children's life. Be humble. Parents, let's be humble when we are bringing up these children. Teachers, let's be humble. The community, the society. I know children were exposed during this time of COVID. Many children engage into activities that bring them money. They were raising money, you know, they were selling chapad, laying bricks, and they got money. So now when they went back to school, they are weighing between school and the money they had been making. And this gave them hard time to settle in schools. So with humility, we can still be able to train them back and cause them to study and live well. Maybe finally, I'll give you Hebrews. Colossians chapter 1 verse 10 tells us about being intentional. Let's all be intentional in whatever we do for our children. Let's be intentional in raising our children and knowing any vice. Be intentional. Be inquisitive to know the life of your children. And finally, the Hebrews chapter 12 verse 1, go and read. Because it tells us in order to run well, we need to shake off any things that keep us from running. Shake it off. Run the race. Raise your children and make their future better. Thank you.
With those kind of beautiful remarks from Reverend James, about I give you 1 minute to either sound a warning or give an encouragement to either a parent or a child following and listening to the show.
Oh, thank you. Let me begin with children, because they're the reason why we are here. I want you to listen to me carefully, my child. Wherever you are, whoever you are, your futures belongs to you. Do it, because whatever you do, you will be the one to enjoy. I always give a reference to me personally and my parent. My father did everything, caning me, doing everything on me. But one time when I was in Europe, I went to Italy. The lifestyle I enjoyed there made me to call my father and cried on phone. I said, Dad, I wish you could be here. Because everything your parents do, they do it for your own future. They will not reach where you go. A writer once says, a child is a letter that you write to the world that you will not reach. Where we are taking you, we will not enjoy. It is for your benefit. 2, to parents, my fellow parents, it is our duty. Walk the journey and do everything possible. Accept to be abused for the sake of your children. Make them who they are, because you will enjoy the sweat that you have labored for. And that is what I want to give to you. It is hard, especially during this time. But the God who called you and gave you the children will provide for you. Thank you.
With those kind of profound remarks to parents and to children, ladies and gentlemen, young people out there, parenting is daily business. I would rather call it daily bread. If you try to escape it, you're trying to escape your generation and mess it up. If you are a parent who is unparented, you better seek parenthood from a parent who was parented, so that you can parent your children. How about we wish you a good night from the Church of Uganda Family TV. From I and the team, it's a good night. God bless you. God bless Uganda.
Let's talk.